Aloe Constance says, any news on Israel's unsuccessful moon landing or on today's successful Falcon Heavy launch? No, on either. I don't know anything about it. I just heard that the Falcon Heavy launch went well, and you're just reading this now as the first indication that the Israeli moon landing failed. And I have to tell you, that surprises me quite a bit, that the Israelis' moon landing failed. They're technological wizards, and I would have thought that he would have succeeded that Israel would have succeeded in many cases ahead of the Chinese or the Russians even. So I'm afraid I have nothing to add to that either. Moving down the line, George Freeland. George Freeland. What's the greatest civil aviation story out of World War II, and why is it the flight of the Pacific Clipper? That's a great question. I'm not very familiar with the flight of the Pacific Clipper. I do know that that Pan Am had a number of these flying boats, and they had the range. All of the Pacific and all of the South America was served by Pan Am and these flying boats. And, you know, to fly to Hawaii in that thing is probably a 15, 20-hour deal at least, I would imagine. And no navigation aids, nothing. You're just out there, and you're pretty low too, probably, I guess, around 10 grand, somewhere around there, 10,000 feet. And you're just buzzing out there, and you're hoping to find a speck in the ocean that's, you know, a significant, 2,000 miles away? All of that. So once again, it looks like we're just not having a great night here tonight for me. I don't know too much about that story. I'm sure I'll get a chance to hear about it. But Clipper chain of Steve Darrow says, what weren't several of the small islands that became battleground part of the Clipper chain of ports? That would not surprise me. That was really, I think, our only real presence in the Pacific. I know that when we got to the Pacific in Guadalcanal, which was a really rushed operation and underfunded and under-supported, that when they were getting ready to go into Guadalcanal, that they didn't have any maps. They had maps from like 1910, and we didn't know anything about that place or anything about any of the other places. Most of these guys who were going out there to land on these islands never heard of them before, and I remember writing an essay not early about how how places develop a certain sort of a mystical reverence based on what happened there. Like nobody thinks too much of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, but Gettysburg, Pennsylvania evokes some feelings. And if you look at the chain of these islands as we worked our way up from Guadalcanal and Tarawa, Pelelu up into Marianas and Saipan and Guam and Tinian, and then on to Iwo Jima and Okinawa. You'll find lots and lots and lots of names of these little islands, and they mean nothing. And then all of a sudden, one of them just leaps out at you. It's like Tarawa. Okay.